feel-good stories are always great to hear, and Nathan Bell is the most feel-good story you'll ever hear. I mean, his involvement in the community and way that he has selflessly supported St. Tammany Parish over the last 20 years is incredible, and how he's able to parlay that into a successful real estate career is even more impressive. So if you want to know more about Nathan Bell, check out this conversation Lauren and I had with him in our studio at Arena. Welcome to the Residential Mastermind episode of the Arena podcast. I got Lauren here with me, co-hosting these podcasts again, and we have our good buddy Nathan Bell.
What's going on, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Dude, KW Slidell.
Yeah.
Just want to let everybody know Slidell is in the house.
Yes.
We are in the house.
Slidell's in the house. And I can remember the first time we met was at Bold in Metairie.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Dang.
Long time ago.
Wow. Yeah.
And you had just transitioned from full-time job to getting into real estate. And at that point in time, you had 3 hats you were wearing.
Oh, yeah.
You were wearing 3 hats, which I always admired that about people. And also I appreciate it more now working with a lot of agents and seeing the hustle you have to have, but also how you can utilize your experience and the things you're doing to build relationships that ultimately allow you to do more real estate, right?
Absolutely.
And so, first of all, I just want to thank you for your service. We live in one of the safest areas in the state and probably in the country. And, you've been you said 20 years as a sheriff?
Yeah. I've been giving back to the community for almost 20 years. I was supposed to start the day that Katrina hit for the academy, but that didn't start until 06 January. So since then, working with the sheriff's office for little to no pay most of the time. So
but it's always fun to see you. I mean, like you're supporting a lot of the events through that means, right? So I'll see you in Terabella, just being around to make sure everybody's safe. And again, I believe that we pay a lot in taxes, right? And I mean, any taxes is usually more than you want to pay, but
the wrong podcast, Jared. Wrong.
Yeah. But I mean, we get what we pay for here. I believe that. And I think that y'all do a great job keeping us safe. So I do want to start with just saying that I appreciate you doing that for us, and always having a smile on your face whenever you're doing it too. Always having fun while you're doing it.
Absolutely.
So we talked a little bit off air about how you got into the real estate business, but I think it's impressive to know that you were doing 3 things when you got into the business. So what was like the culmination of you getting there? What were you doing right before you got into the real estate business?
So right before I got into real estate, and I had thought about real estate for a long time, and I was like, man, I should do that when I get in my 50s. But for whatever reason, I put it off. I was working in retail, had a full-time job. I was working for Home Depot, catching shoplifters pretty much is what I did, asset protection.
Were you successful at catching
Very
shoplifters?
successful.
How many people did you tackle?
Well, they stopped letting us tackle probably about 2016 or so. But before that, it was great, man. If it came to that, then yeah, we used to carry handcuffs, all the fun things.
I was joking. I forgot about
Seriously.
these days. We used to be able to tackle people through the
Don't
Walmart.
steal.
Yeah.
You would handcuff them like citizens arrest type stuff?
Yeah, pretty much. There's what's called a merchant's law where Article 215 of the state code where it lets you detain physically if needed a shoplifter, or it's pretty cool.
So essentially the law changed. He could no longer tackle anyone. So he's like, about real estate. Let's see what's going to, this got boring.
Yeah. Well, it was a lot of cubicle decisions that happened at Home Depot. I actually got promoted at one point. But they said, hey, you're doing too good at your job. That's how I felt. So we're going to let you take a role that's right below where you were at. I was like, all right, well. So I transitioned from asset protection manager, lost a little bit of pay, and I was like, you know what? I'm over this. So I started taking my classes, the 90-hour pre-licensing for Louisiana. I now actually have my associate broker license. So took that test, failed it the first time. It's okay. You can fail. Learn from it. And then go try again, and you'll probably pass.
Aaliyah says, pick yourself up and try again.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm interested to hear your answer to this question because my wife, Stephanie, worked in the corporate world before she stepped out to be a mom and then came work with us. And she learned a lot of really good things and a lot of things that you don't want to apply whenever you're starting a new business or operating a small business. So what did you learn from that corporate experience that you're able to carry over to what you're doing now?
Just because someone calls you, and I won't throw any company names out there, but unless it's the Arena, if they call you and they're offering you something, probably jump on it. But if it's another company offering to sell you leads or something like that for a really unbelievable price, When I first got in the business, I got bombarded with those phone calls. And I was like, man, how much? And I can make how much? And it just didn't make sense. I'm very much about spreadsheets. I actually convinced my wife that it was a good idea for me to buy a Tesla because I'd save money on gas because I was driving so much.
It worked. He's out there driving it, people.
I'm saving $200 to $400 a month on gas and car costs at that point. So I'm like, all right, let's do this. So, but yeah, the corporate world, it's different. It's all going to depend on what their end goal is and who's in between that, basically, and what their ideas are of success. And sometimes it's not your same idea of what success looks like. So
yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of having your own business or working for a small business is that you can have more of an impact on the values of those types of organizations. Like when you get into a big corporation, you kind of get what you get, and you have to be either okay with their values infringing on yours, or you're just going to be genuinely unhappy, and probably not stay there very long. But being able to, lead people and manage people and grow, within your own boundaries and on your own terms is huge when you have a small business. So I think that's great. I mean, you got to the point where you even did that to allow your wife to come and work with you. And so, I worked with mine and I loved working with mine. She now is at home, but we had a good little run and it was fun. But
chose to be there.
Yeah, she retired.
Jared did not put her there. She chose to be
there. Which is what we both wanted. But so how's the dynamic on your team? Like, talk about your structure and your team and what you're doing. I mean, you live in Slidell, you operate out of Slidell. I know that's your main market, but you do more than just that, and you have a team of people. So how do y'all operate your organization?
So we're actually down to 3 team members now. So me, my wife, and Jerry. We had 2 others, but times change, needs change. So one of them wanted to start a family, so she kind of pieced out from real estate for right now. The other kind of wanted to get back. She was with Starbucks before. Shout out Lena. Hey, how you doing?
Lena.
So she wanted to go back into another somewhat related role like that and actually be her own store manager for a business. So she's doing that currently. With the market that we're in right now, kind of a buyer's market, I'm shocked at the amount of listings I'm getting, but at the same time, I'm not. So with that, typically what I'm doing is putting Jerry's name on the sign since she's our buyer's agent. Hey, call me, but don't call me. Call Jerry, okay? So that gets her some business. We're still going to list things together quite a bit when Jerry's got listings, when Becky's got listings. And we pretty much service from Baton Rouge, even though I'm helping somebody in Natchitoches right now. But going to Baton Rouge, all the way over to Diamond Head, it's kind of where I draw the line over there. So it's kind of how we're doing things, man. Just structuring it to where it's kind of a win-win. When we're on vacation, Jerry's handling things. When Jerry's on vacation, she likes taking vacations, by the way. We're handling things. So works out good.
Yeah, and so and working at Keller Williams, right? You've been there your whole career. And I think that it says a lot for an agent who's been in the same place for their whole career. I mean, obviously, you found a place that you felt that you have a value alignment there, and from a very high level, obviously there's nuances here, but like a lot of brokerages are very much the same. But I do believe that what sets them apart is the culture that they create and the attraction of the agents they're trying to get to come on board. And I believe that if you go into a Keller Williams office, you can kind of feel the vibe and the culture of the family and what they create. But it's important because I think your clients feel that too. And like, what has kept you at Keller Williams for so long when we all know that the musical chairs of real estate happens almost every year and a half, 2 years?
Yeah, great question. So with my wife being in real estate as well, we have one cap. So a cap is when you pretty much have paid the brokerage, and if there's any royalty fees within your anniversary year, then you don't have to pay anything else in at that point. There might be some small monthly fees for like tech and stuff like that, which we do pay that as well. But we cap now typically between 1 month and maybe 3 months. So the whole rest of the year, we're pretty much, when we bring a check in to the brokerage, they deposit it, they cut us a check right back for that amount. So that's one reason why I've stayed there, is because I don't know of any other brokerages that honor anything like that, where we have one small cap versus 2 normal caps. So that's kept me there. And then just how much they want to embrace technology, that has really helped out my business on top of the technology that I embrace, because I like to have systems. And we always talk about, clients are going to work with someone they know, like, and trust. But there's also a big thing about systems, whether you have intake forms, different things that will help speed you along the process that you might have to set up once and save yourself time down the road.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. So
Embrace it.
so your mindset around tech, that's interesting, because not a lot of people talk about tech when it comes to the real estate. I mean, you might be the first
Talking to
person.
the drone man right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. And I
That
know
drives
that.
the Tesla.
I know that about you, yeah. But most agents don't lead with that. They don't talk
Yeah.
about it a ton. And I do think that when you talk about leverage and being able to focus on your highest and best task and the highest dollar generating tasks, you have to leverage whether it's people or tech or processes, right? And so you've used a lot of those words, right? You've talked about your team, you've talked about processes you have, and you've talked about your tech. So what is your mindset around tech, and how do you help your clients get on board with that? Because you really don't have a lot of time with people, right? You might show them houses for 60 days, get a house under contract for 30 days. It's 90 days. If somebody's not tech savvy or they don't understand the systems that you operate within, you got to get them up to speed fast. So how does that work within your team?
So I've got a kind of an onboarding that I set up. It's very general, right? So, hey, here's the systems that we're using. Here's where you fit in. Here's all you have to do. But one thing that I've found that connects us more to those buyers and sellers is there's a website out there called Amitree. It's AMITREE.com. It basically will sync with Google Calendar, and it'll also help out in your mailbox. Anything that's dealing with a certain piece of land or a buyer, whatever, it's going to tag it and say, hey, I think this is supposed to be in this envelope. So it kind of tags it right there, and all you have to do is just say, yeah, that's the right one, and remove the other tags that it has on it. From there, we build out a timeline. So whenever we're going to list a house, we'll put like, hey, the photo shoot's going to be on this Thursday. This is our go live date if the weather's good. We try and get the photos done on that day that the weather's good, even though we've had a weird year of weather. But from there, we get the photos done. Probably within the next day or two, we can actually make it to where it's live once all the paperwork's in and turn it on. So that seller's kind of informed on that process. And then once we get under contract, and that's kind of when the buyer timeline also reflects, hey, under contract, deposit due, inspection timeline, any other things that need to be added in along there, like, hey, go get your septic pumped, have the septic tested, the water tested, all those things. It's just going to depend on the property. And then, hey, here's our end goal, go into the closing. And so to me, Amitree has been a really big help in that side of things, keeping my phone from ringing on those types of questions. I can see when they've actually signed up and, added that calendar to their calendar. And I'm like, all right, cool. That's one less question about, hey, when's this going to happen? When's that going to happen? So that helps out buyers, sellers, and us.
Yeah. The thing that we talk often about at Arena is our 3 C's. One of them, and the first one is communication. And I think creating clear expectations goes hand in hand with that communication, and having that onboarding package so people understand how you fit into the process. I think that's huge. A lot of agents they kind of walk people through the process as it's unfolding, and certain type of personalities are not going to enjoy that. They want to know what's happening next. And I think utilizing technology to allow you to be more clear about what the timeline is super helpful.
So we're on the cusp of that ourselves, and integrating some technology that's going to hopefully streamline better communication and offer a dashboard, and it'll be similar to that, right? And we have to go through that challenge of setting the expectation of change with all the agents. And, sometimes I think that's the harder part than dealing direct with consumers, to get everybody on board with our process fitting into theirs. So we understand the challenge.
Yeah. But once you have an efficient process that allows you to be more productive, help more people, and serve your clients better. And I think that's the biggest thing. I'm glad that we got to really focus on detailing how you and your team are utilizing the systems and technology in order to help make your client experience more effective.